Hello. Hello. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. What is up? All right. We're going to open up the phone lines. It is Friday. There's so much to talk about. And if you want to give me a call, the number is 319-527-3453. My producer will put the number down here in the lower third at some point for you. Right there it is. 319-527-3453 is the phone number for you to call in. Now, we're going to talk about Israel, and we're going to talk about Senator Padilla. We're going to talk about Senator Padilla, how he became a victim all of a sudden. Did you know? Have y'all seen the video? Have y'all seen it? So he basically interrupts Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. He interrupts her press conference. She's like in the middle of it. She's talking. She's doing her talking point. She's relaying information. And he couldn't wait until she was finished. He couldn't wait until she was done and say, thank you, everybody. He wanted to interrupt while she was in the middle of it. She didn't miss a beat. She kept going. She ignored him because security handled this dude and took him out. And now you have people like Adam Pencil-Neck Schiff saying that she should resign. Like she did something wrong. What did she do? She was doing a press conference relaying information. And because she was relaying information they didn't like, they said that he should be able to interrupt. And you know what I've noticed? It's the same reason why these Demoncrats run out there and get these radical judges to try to stop President Trump. The Demoncrats believe that they are the authority over everything. If the Democrats say something, you need to stop and listen. If the Democrats say you can't do something, you can't believe something, you can't know something, you can't hear something, the Democrats believe that they know what's best. And these Democrats are trying to convince everybody that you can't do nothing, we can't do nothing without them. They're actually saying this. They're actually believing this. They demonstrate it. We the people voted for President Trump, and they find these radical judges to say, well, we the people didn't know what we were doing. That's what they're essentially saying. But they don't supersede us, we the people. All of us agreed that we wanted President Trump to do what he's doing. We all agreed. More than half the country, at least, agreed that President Trump should be doing what he's doing, and they're upset about it. All right. As I said again, the phone line is open 319-527-3453. And I want to hear what you have to say about Israel. When I was actually working, doing some extra stuff, and Shannon came up to me, my producer, and she said, Israel just started attacking Iran. And I mean, it's just full scale attack. And apparently they've taken out a whole bunch of their nuclear plants. They said that this is what they've been reporting, that they've taken out their nuclear facilities where they were building uranium. They've taken out scientists. They've taken out generals. They've taken out members in their so-called government. They've taken them out. And of course, because of the people that they took out, they're in shambles. This is what's been reported. But then you have some people saying that Iran is going to come back and they're going to destroy Israel, et cetera, et cetera. I don't personally going to believe that's going to happen because of what the Bible says. But no one likes conflict. No one likes conflict. No one likes conflict. Well, I take that back. Democrats like conflict. Democrats love animosity. They love destruction. And we've seen that. Let me get to some of this here. Here's this guy, Alex Padilla, after he went in and disrupted Kristi Noem in her press conference. And what does he do? He runs right out there and becomes a victim. Now, before he ran out to the cameras, because all the cameras, he's ready for his 15 minutes of fame to go on MSDNC, go on all the talk shows. He ran out to the cameras, but before he ran out there, he actually sat down with Kristi Noem after all of this took place, after it all unfolded. I guess she said, take him out of handcuffs. Take him out of handcuffs. Let's have a discussion. So they had a sit down discussion for she said about between, I guess, 10 to 15 minutes, something like that, maybe 10 to 15 to 20 minutes, something. So here they are having a discussion. And she said, look, we need to work together, right? Basically, but you can't be doing this. And this is what he had to say. Instead of him coming out and saying, yeah, we sat down with one another and we're in discussions. We're going to try to see what we can do. He doubles down on his activism. Listen.
Over the course of recent weeks, several of my colleagues have been asking the Department of Homeland Security for more information and more answers on their increasingly extreme immigration enforcement actions. And we've gotten little to no information in response to our inquiries. And so I came to the press conference to hear what she had to say, to see if I could learn any new additional information. And at one point, I had a question. And let me emphasize, just as we've emphasized the right for people to peacefully protest.
Oh, so was he there to ask a question or was he there to protest? Did you just pick up on that, Shannon? Was he there to ask a question or there to protest? Because he couldn't even, if he was there to ask a question, he could at least wait until she got to the end. Most of the time when they have these press conferences, guess what they do? They take questions from the press. President Trump does it all the time. Yeah. He could not wait for that.
Supposedly, he was at the same facility. I guess it's the federal ICE building. He had been requesting to have conversations with, ICE to get questions on what they're doing, how they're doing it. And so he had a meeting. He actually had scheduled a meeting in the same building. He did not know that Christie was having a press conference, but when he found out,
he's lying.
He did go downstairs. This is the story.
Yeah,
went downstairs and started the conversation, or the whole fiasco, really.
And to stand up for their First Amendment rights, for our fundamental rights. I was there peacefully. At one point, I had a question, and so I began to ask a question. I was almost immediately forcibly removed from the room. I was forced to the ground, and I was handcuffed.
Now, here comes the victimhood. Here comes the part where he becomes the victim in all of this. And he actually did lunge towards her while he was trying to ask his question, and they did their jobs and they pushed him back. But then he was pushing back on them. So he was resisting arrest after the fact.
I was not arrested.
Listen.
I was not detained. I will say this. If this is how this administration responds to a senator with a question.
Really? They should respond to anybody when you do this. Look what he's doing. They're showing them split screen of him fighting with the security. Is this how a senator is supposed to act? This is an amazing thing to me. Because all of these radical leftist lunatics all over social media, all over the media, none of them are saying what he was doing is out of order. What he did was out of order. Well, I take it back. There's actually a few of them, but they probably got reprimanded for doing so.
If this is how the Department of Homeland Security responds to a senator with a question, you can only imagine what they're doing.
Listen, here comes the crocodile
tears. To farm workers, to cooks, to day laborers out in the Los Angeles community and throughout California and throughout the country.
It's terrible. Oh my goodness. How are we going to ever deal with all of this? It's just so bad. If they can do it to a senator this way, just imagine what they're doing to the cooks. Imagine what they're doing to Americans and Californians. Just imagine what they're doing if they do a senator. This dude is an activist. If you go to any press conference and you act out this way, guess what? You're going to get the boot. You're going to get the boot. And now all of a sudden, he's the victim in all of this. He's the victim. Like, here's another one. Here's the MSDNC talking about this, why it was happening, right? Oh, look at this. Bring this up. And again, the phone line is open 319-527-3453. For everyone that's listening, 319-527-3453. Give me a call. Holler at me. I want to know what you have to think about all of this. Now, listen to this. This is like right after it was happening, during that same time. And listen to what they're saying here. Because, of course, they're trying to gear up to, try to be nice about it all. Watch.
These very officials claim to also be opposed to Christina.
And Lisa, I want to go back to you really quickly because we've also seen Democratic lawmakers trying to walk that exact line we were just talking about with David. I hear you have more information on that video we played of Senator Padilla at this Kristi Noem event. There is reporting now that he was, in fact, arrested outside the room.
It appears that he was arrested outside the room, Christina. I am now in possession of video that was taken from a different angle of this same incident. The video you showed earlier shows Senator Padilla being escorted out of the room and quickly ends thereafter. The video that I have seen shows that what happens when he goes into that hallway, he is further pushed into the hallway by somebody wearing an FBI shirt. You
hear? See right there. There's a couple things in this video. She says, yes, it appears that he was arrested. He said he wasn't arrested. She says, yes, appears that he was arrested. He was put in handcuffs. He may have been arrested for a short period of time, but he was arrested. But he was saying that he wasn't. They saying that he was. Somebody's lying. They didn't get their stories together yet, right? Because after all of this, they end up changing it. They end up changing their tune. They end up changing the story, trying to paint him as being a victim.
And
then on top of that, she says somebody in an FBI. They're in a federal building, and she says somebody in an FBI T-shirt. Oh, not just saying an FBI agent, somebody in the FBI T-shirt. Like maybe this person just impersonating an FBI agent. Did y'all pick up on that too? You see, look, it's like they're spinning it any which way they can. Listen.
Happens when he goes into that hallway. He is further pushed into the hallway by somebody wearing an FBI shirt. He is then pushed onto the ground and placed under arrest with his hands behind his back as he is face down on the floor by 3 additional officers. Obviously, we don't have full information about the altercation that led him to be pushed out of the room by personnel either from the Department of Homeland Security or the FBI. But this is yet another escalation between the Department of Homeland Security and those agents working at their disposal and lawmakers. Obviously, LaMonica McIver, a congresswoman from New Jersey, has now been indicted on 3 federal charges for which she could face up to 18 years in prison in an altercation that started not dissimilarly from this. One of the things I was looking for is whether or not Senator Padilla himself put his hands back on those who were involved in that altercation with him.
But he did. He did put his hands on them. They were pushing on him. He was pushing back on them. They were pushing on him. He was pushing back on them. He didn't comply. He didn't get out the way. He could have just been silent, but he wanted to interrupt. He wanted to do this for disruption because he wanted to get the 15 minutes of fame. So then that way he can end up on MSDNC. This is the reason why he did. He wanted to end up on MSDNC and talk about, oh my goodness, this is what they did to me. This is what they did. I just wanted to ask a question. And I'm a senator. I don't have to wait until she's done with her speech. I can just start talking at any point because I'm a Democrat senator. And when a Democrat senator speaks, everybody, the world needs to stop because I'm speaking now. This is how they think. Listen to him here on MSDNC.
First question, how are you? We all watched the video. We saw you taken to the floor by those agents. How are you doing?
Yeah, look, I'm okay. I've been on the phone off and on with kids, right? Because my kids, travels fast in this day and age with technology to make sure they're okay. But I think most importantly is the outrage that I hope people feel. If this can happen to a United States senator for having the audacity to ask a question of the Secretary of Homeland Security, the same questions and requests for information that we've had, not just the last sort of week or so of the activity in Los Angeles, but since the beginning of the administration, then just imagine what can happen to anybody in the country for that matter.
We heard from you briefly at the press conference.
He said it can happen to anybody in the country. It can happen to anybody. Well, if anybody goes into a press conference with the secretary or anybody that's in President Trump's administration and they act out the way he's acting out, it could happen to anybody. How stupid can you be?
After you came outside of the federal building in Westwood, we've heard more extensively from Secretary Noem and the Department of Homeland Security. And I want to just tell you a little bit, because I'm sure this has been a whirlwind, about what they've been saying. Secretary Noem said that you, quote, lunged towards her at this press conference. The Department of Homeland Security said the Secret Service believed that you were an attacker. And the Department of Homeland Security called this political theater. What's your response, and what's your version of what happened?
Well, first of all, that's ridiculous. It's a lie.
Oh, first of all, that's ridiculous. That's exactly what happened here. It is political theater. How come he couldn't wait like a civilized person until she's done and when she starts taking questions? Why couldn't he wait until then to ask his questions? See, no one is bringing that up. How come he didn't say, well, why couldn't, I haven't seen it past this part. So I'm just kind of curious. Is he going to come back and say, well, why didn't you just wait until she was done with her press conference when she started taking questions? Right? I mean, don't you think that's the civilized thing to do? Let's see if he says it.
But par for the course for this administration, right? So here's the stage. Look, I was in the federal building here in Los Angeles for a scheduled briefing. Just as when my colleagues and I had to go all the way to Guantanamo Bay to begin to get information about that facility being used as a detention facility, they've been non-responsive to requests for information. And so I had scheduled, they approved a briefing with representatives of the Northern Command in that federal building. We were there prior to the 10:30 original appointment date when we caught wind that Secretary of Homeland Security is going to be down the hall at a press conference. And our briefing was now delayed because of that press conference. So since the secretary has been non-responsive, I figured let me go over and listen to what she has to say. Maybe we can glean some information here.
So let me make sure.
Really? So let me understand. Help me understand. You're not telling me the information that I want to know. I've been asking you information. You're non-responsive. And because you haven't been responsive towards me, I'm going to come down here and disrupt the whole thing. So who did what here? Who did what? Did Kristi Noem do something wrong during her press conference? And again, the entire time he was acting like a buffoon, she was just reading. She was doing her script. I don't even think she had a teleprompter. She was doing her press conference. She didn't even miss a beat. She acted like the dude wasn't even there because they were handling him. They were manhandling him.
So the whole time, right? We're the whole time being escorted in this federal building by somebody from the National Guard, somebody from the FBI. I've gone through screening. This is a federal building. Goodness. And so tell them, let's go listen to the press conference. They escort me over to that room. And I'm sitting in the back of the room behind the cameras, behind the reporters, listening. And at one point, it was just too much to take. Not the first, but the second attack on the political leadership of California and this notion that Donald Trump and Kristi Noem had to come in and rescue the people of Los Angeles from Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass. It was too much. And so I spoke up. I introduced myself and said I had a question. Look, they said I wasn't wearing my pin. My polo says United States Senate.
I mean, are you kidding me? He did not introduce himself. Even the camera guy, one of the liberal camera guys that was there, turned around, point the camera at him, says, I didn't even recognize the guy. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know he was a senator.
He said, I thought he was press.
Say it again?
One of them said, I thought he was press.
Yeah.
And actually, it was more than one. There were several in the room that said he did not say who he was at first. They had no idea. They at first thought he was a member of the press. But it wasn't at a point where you asked questions yet, so it took him by surprise how he lunged towards the podium.
That's why when one scene where they show the camera guys turning around, like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? We got commotion. Because, the camera wants to see the commotion. The camera wants to see all of that. So they turned around. All right, everybody, look. We got the phone line open, 319-527-3453. Is this how you be a victim? Is this how you become a victim? I think this is exactly what they're trying to achieve here. They want to be a victim. So give me a call. Tell me what you think. Or if you want to, if we have time, I'm going to make sure we have some time because, this is just, the story. We're not going to talk about this entire time. But if you want to also give me a call about what's happening in Israel, I would love to hear your opinion about all of it.
Yep. And we have our first caller, Will.
Okay, we do. All
caller
right. Well,
2330, you're on the line.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Will. Christopher Eddy. I'm out near Boston.
Hey, Christopher. Thank you so much for the call. So what do you think about all of this?
I just want to say that the Democrats are always projecting their atrocities. Everything that they do, they try to call out on others.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%.
Horrible.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think it is that people that seen the video and they were watching him act out, and then after they were getting ready to push him out the door, it wasn't only until then he said that I'm a senator, because he didn't say, hello, Kristi Noem, Senator such and such, I want to ask you a question. He didn't do that. He just started.
They don't have any policy.
Right?
They don't have any policy. They don't have any plans. They don't have anything for the American people.
Exactly.
So all they do is just create division and create this, like, everything's bad on the right. Doesn't matter, like, if you're a little kid with cancer, like, we can't stand anything you say. We're doing the opposite.
But let me ask you this. But why do you think people that see the truth and then they still believe the lies that's coming out of the liberal media news after they just saw it? Why do you think that's happening? For me, it's like something's wrong with our society.
Dude, I live in Massachusetts, so you really want to go there? It's horrible. You know what I mean? It's horrible. And
Give me the short version. Give me the short version. I just want to hear it, right?
And I went to college in Maine, so yeah. But
I think it just comes down to common sense, right? I think because, you're exercising it most definitely. Common sense is what it comes down to, and I don't think they exercise it any longer.
No.
Yeah.
No. And the universities and the colleges are promoting this ignorance. Not only do I have a child about to be 18, but I also have a 3 and 5 year old.
Wow.
So I've like both ends of the spectrum. Yes. You know what I mean? And my oldest had to go through all the woke nonsense.
God bless you.
Oh my goodness.
And then my youngest, my 5-year-old's about to start kindergarten. My other one's pre-K. And so, I just worry, like, especially one day I took my, if he was 4 at the time, into school, and there's pride flags or like gay flags all over the place. I'm like, they're little kids. Like, they don't need to be exposed to that yet. Like, let them be kids for as long as possible. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they're not going to do that in Massachusetts. I'm going to tell you right now.
Oh my goodness. Because when I was growing up.
But there's a lot of Trump supporters in Mass, and it's. Is
there a lot of Trump supporters in California? It's just the government, the local state government got everything twisted up. And that's the problem.
I think that's the problem in a lot of these little state or cities and such is we don't have enough Republicans that are going in as aggressive and with a agenda. These people have an agenda. They run with an agenda, with a purpose.
Yep.
To eliminate literally the conservative way of life. That's really what they want to get rid of.
Yep.
So I feel sorry for you. I'm so glad I don't have children in school anymore. I was pretty much in the schools and I participated a lot. I knew pretty much what was going on in my children's classrooms. I'm so glad I was able to do that. I hope that your family is able to do that too.
Yeah, I hope for my youngest. It's getting better, I think, with everything. People are waking up a little bit when it comes to at least the kids, hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Man, I hope so.
Well, hey, thank you so much.
I just got to say, Democrats, and I'll just leave it at this. Democrats are always projecting everything they do. So it's like they got a video of Trump peeing on somebody. They probably did that, and they're using it on someone,
And you know what, Chris?
They literally do everything that they are blaming someone else for.
Christopher,
100%.
Today, Will and I were talking before we did the show. We're listening to these clips, which really are really blood boiling. Because they feed these lies, this narrative that's not true, even though that they know it's not true. He knows that he didn't introduce himself before he started asking questions. We even got the proof on camera.
And he still lies about
it. But
then
every single one of these Democrats that are filled with this darkness an evil spirit come out with that lie and spew that lie. And I told Will, I said, I don't understand how they can live in their own skin, being and doing what they're doing.
Because I know you guys got to go, and I got kids, and I know you're gonna have someone else on. But I just want to say, with Israel, I stand with the Jewish people, but I do not stand with the government there. I don't stand with Netanyahu, but I stand with the people. You know what I mean? But that whole situation, we should just be. I mean, we literally created Israel. We are Israel. That's the problem.
I mean, most of those people are actually anti-Christian. They're actually anti-Christ there. So,
well, a lot of people, what I found out, the Jewish majority, more than half the Jewish people are atheists. So, okay. But I mean, and you know,
well, just remember they had to get the Romans to kill Jesus because they didn't want to kill. But now
that's true. Like that is true.
It's open season.
Yeah, it also said that Persia would rise up against her, which is actually now Iran in the end times. So, is this biblical? Yeah. We don't. I say let's stand by and watch.
Stay away.
Stand by and watch.
Do what they're gonna do.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, thank you so much for the call,
sir.
Thank
you for having me on.
God bless.
God bless. Problem. Take care.
Have a good.
You too. All right, I got another clip I want to share with you about this guy, Alex Padilla. Now, let me ask you a question. Everyone that's watching right now, and the phone line is open if you want to give me a call. They're actually saying that this is racist. They're also saying that this has something to do with Russia propaganda. They're actually saying this. This is racist, has something to do with Russian propaganda. Bunch of BS. Look. They're going along with the lies on all of this. Here, watch this.
Well, either some people get some backbone who actually have power to stand up to Trump, the courts, the Senate Republicans, or we're just going to be here until we can get to another election. If there's not a military national emergency declared to prevent that election from happening. I think we have to start talking about these things.
I want to do one more thing before I bring Jacob into this. It's not often that you get to see the propaganda forming in real time. And the video was available before Kristi Noem's 3 p.m. Interview on Fox News.
Are you hearing this? It's not every time that you get to see the propaganda in real time. They're doing the propaganda in real time. Listen, I saw this clip. I said, oh, my goodness. We actually can look at the same thing. We can all look at a circle. We can all look at a ball. And some people go, no, it's flat. I'm straight up serious. This is the world we live in. I can show you a ball, a sphere. And some people go, nope, it's flat. This is the world we live in. Listen, talking about the propaganda in real time.
Was announced or notified with a little box to promote it. And the video shows Senator Alex Padilla saying, quote, I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I don't know who interviewed Kristi Noem, but Kristi Noem tells this lie, quote, he didn't identify himself. The lie isn't corrected. So now.
Did you hear what she just said? Did you hear what she just said? She said Kristi Noem lied and said he did not introduce himself in the beginning of all of this. Listen.
Before Kristi Noem's 3 p.m. Interview on Fox News was announced or notified with a little box to promote it.
Watch.
And the video shows Senator Alex Padilla saying, quote, I'm Senator Alex Padilla.
You see how she's doing the propaganda?
That is such a lie.
You see how she's laying the propaganda out like he introduced himself first while she's still talking.
It's funny, Will, because even CBS reporter that was in the room said he did not state who he was.
Even CNN at first.
Reporter that was in the room.
Yeah, even
said
CNN.
He did not state who he was.
I have one. I have a clip on that.
And we have both of those.
I have a clip on that. Listen to this.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I don't know who interviewed Kristi Noem, but Kristi Noem tells this lie. Quote,
Kristi Noem tells this lie. Are you kidding me? See, this is the problem with the government state media. Listen to her.
He didn't identify himself. The lie isn't corrected. So now millions of people, that network has a huge audience, heard that lie. What is the role of propaganda and unchecked, uncorrected lies in the media in an autocratic lunge?
I think if you want to look at an example, it's Russia, right? And then
what does Russia got to do with this? Russia. Always go back to Russia. This is when Just like the young man that just called in, they don't have anything to stand on. They don't have anything they can push. They don't have nothing. Russia, Russia, Russia. Run right to Russia. What does Russia have to do with this?
Russia, what you have if you watch television, all you see is an alternative reality that is not reality. It is a reality.
I mean, look, I wonder if the people that watch the crap that they're putting out there just heard what he just said, that they're putting out propaganda. They're the ones against reality. They don't even know what a woman is. In the world that we live in, reality. Hello? Anybody?
Reality that the regime wants you to think is reality. That is what Fox News is. It is no different than the state media that we see in places like Russia. I'm from Los Angeles. I just got here yesterday. There's no burning of LA to the ground. They've created a complete fiction on television, running in a loop the same 4 or 5 images of the same burning car. Right?
You know why LA is not burning down right now? Can I get a show of hands of people that know the reason why LA is not burning down? You know why? Because Trump sent in the troops. That's why LA is not burning down. That's why it's not burning down to the ground. Because Trump sent in the troops. He took over the National Guard, which, they're all upset about that. And then Gavin Newsom sued to say, nope, you got to give them back to me so I can set them aside and allow these tyrants to burn the city down. And another judge came back, said, okay, yeah, you can have them back. And then another one came back, said, no, you can't. Because you're not upholding the law. You should have sent them in the first place. You shouldn't have to wait for President Trump to do it. You should have done your job. And now they're all upset about it.
Right? They're going to kind of force down the throats of the people that watch and consume their media or their social media a complete false reality. And it makes it incumbent on us to do whatever we can in our personal communications with our neighbors, as well as the platforms that we have to communicate a reality. I just want to say one other thing.
Okay. You see this? He says he's basically saying people need to get on social media and everything and basically push the lies that they're pushing. This is exactly what they're doing. They're pushing straight up lies. Everybody saw the video. He said something before he even announced himself. He only announced who he was when they were pushing him out the door, but it's too late at that point. All they know, he could be lying. He could be lying because any respectful senator, they're not going to interrupt the press conference and just start lying. They're not going to do that. Any respectful senator. Now, here is a key part about all of this. Listen.
Nicole, there's a racialized component to this.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Just like a good Demoncrat. It got to be about racism. It has to be about racism. Why is the white man talking to the white liberal telling all of us that this has a racial element to it? Oh, are you surprised? I got to take it back just in case you missed it. Are you surprised? Surprise, surprise, surprise. The white man liberal is telling the white female liberal, there's a racial element to this.
As well as the platforms that we have to communicate a reality. I just want to say one other thing, Nicole. There's a racialized component to this.
Oh.
Alex Padilla is brown.
Oh, Alex Padilla is brown. Oh, so it must be racism. Must be. So let's get this straight. Because Alex Padilla is brown, that gives him every right to go disrupt the press conference from Kristi Noem because she's not brown. She didn't say nothing to him. She even had a sit down with him trying to, work things out. But this is a racial thing simply because he's brown. Really? What's racist about this? He's the one acting out. He's the one showing his backside. Oh, I forgot. There's that thing called brown privilege. That's what it is, brown privilege. So he can act ignorant, and you're supposed to allow him to act ignorant. You're supposed to stop. The word's supposed to stop for you because now you're acting ignorant.
Right? And let's just name this too. Like they're going to kind of otherize him in the same way that they're trying to otherize the kind of people that are being rolled up in a lot of these raids, including people who've committed no crimes, including people who may be here illegally. That's where they're starting, but it's not where they're going to end.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Get him off the screen. You see this? See, this is exactly what I'm constantly talking about. This is what I'm talking about all the time. There's nothing racial here. You know what? He could have waited until she was done. And it says, okay, are there any questions? He could have asked the question then. Why couldn't he wait? And I still have yet to see anyone ask that question. Well, why didn't you just wait until she was done with the press conference and, when she was done doing her speech and then take on questions? Why couldn't you just wait until then? I've yet to see anyone ask him that question. Why not? Am I missing something? Maybe they did ask a question. I just hadn't seen it. Well, listen to the Communist News Network talk about him going in there. Now, you just heard it over on MSDNC. See, this is them not getting their stories together. You know how when they do the videos and they do the video and they show all of the different liberal media outlets on the same screen? This is a threat to our democracy. Trump is a threat. They say the exact same thing. This is a prime example of when they did not get the memo in time. Because some of them come out there and start saying what they're actually seeing and what's actually happening. But then after all of this, then they change the tune. Look, listen carefully.
And that's the other key point. He started talking first. And when...
Oh! What? What did she say? No, she didn't say that. This is the Communist News Network. He what? Listen.
And that's the other key point. He started talking first. And when he started talking, he took a couple of steps. It was not a lunge, as it's been characterized.
Oh, it was a lunge. See, they're going to still play defense. But she said he started talking first. Listen.
And then there were immediately hands on him from her detail, people pushing him away and back and moving him away from them. During that time is when he identified himself.
Oh, during that time, he identified himself, right? But at that point, after he already acted out as an activist, he could be lying about who he is. The other video I just showed where the other radical leftist liberal was saying that there was somebody and happened to be in an FBI t-shirt. Not an FBI agent, but he just happened to be in an FBI t-shirt. Meaning that he's probably impersonating FBI. So how do we know that this guy's not impersonating a senator? Right? It goes both ways.
So he did not identify himself first when he was asking the question and interrupting her. And those are two things I think are very important to note how this went down.
How do you view it?
Well, just watch the video. I mean, within the first 2 seconds of him standing up, he identified himself as...
No, he didn't.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. He identifies exactly who he is. He tries to ask a question. He tries to do what every American has the right to do, which is, your First Amendment rights. And what we see the response is really, pure un-American authoritarianism. And it should scare us all, because if they can do this to a U.S. senator, they can do this to the average American.
Oh my goodness. It doesn't matter who you are. If you act ignorant this way, this is the results. This is going to happen. They just don't randomly see him come in there. Oh, we know who this is. Let's just go ahead and start manhandling him. Right? We don't have nothing else better to do. We need some excitement today, Let's just start manhandling him. No, he started acting out. And none of the Demoncrats are saying, look, dude, you shouldn't have done this. But none of them are saying this. And I said this last night. The very fact that all of them are rallying behind him now, I guarantee that we're going to see more of these radical leftist lunatic politicians do the exact same thing. I don't mind being wrong, but I suspect that they're going to do it.
In your view, is there anything about Senator Padilla's actions that security could have, in good faith, interpreted as a security risk?
No, he was a long way from the stage. He stood up, and the first thing he said was, I am U.S. Senator Alex Padilla.
No, he did not. I mean, come on, man. Come on. I mean, the level of lies. I mean, Jake the Snake had to have seen the video. Why didn't he say, look. I mean, I understand your position here. You want to defend the senator. I get that. But that's not what happened. He did not identify himself until they started pushing him out the door. I mean, so Jake the Snake. Now, Jake the Snake got his book going out there, right? He's trying to sell his book, but I guess he's just like, okay, the book's not selling. Let me just get back to being, the radical leftist lunatic that we are. He should have said something. That's not what happened. I'm sorry. I can't let you do that. I'm trying to turn a new leaf here. Well, he just going to turn the leaf back over, even though it was moldy and wet.
That is clear who he is. They should have let him speak. And frankly,
no, you don't have. It's not your press conference.
Frankly, he was doing his job as a U.S. senator. Look, Donald Trump is forcing the American military on American citizens. He's trying to intimidate American citizens, and what they're doing now with DHS at this press conference is, number one, forcing a U.S. senator to the ground after he identified himself, after he was just trying to ask a question, and now they're trying to gaslight the American people and blatantly lying about what happened when there's video of it.
Yeah, one of the things that Secretary Noem said before this incident, I want to read you this quote.
Okay, he's not going to read it. Well, I don't have the. It doesn't go on further long enough for him to read it. I mean, come on. Hey, we got a couple more minutes here. 319-527-3453. If you want to holler at me, what do you think about all of this? I mean, really, what do you think about all of this? Here's another one on the Communist News Network talking about this episode, activism, right after it happened. And this
is a good one.
This is before they all got the memo. This is before they all got the memo to, just double down on the lies that they were all watching. This is before they got the memo. All right. So, hey, let me say this too. If you haven't already and you're watching this, please hit the thumbs up, hit the heart, hit the red pill, share the video. If you're watching this, if you haven't done so already, please bless me by doing so. Please bless me by doing so. And also, really quick, let me play this video and then I'm gonna go into a little bit. Now, listen, here it is. This is, again, recap. This is before they got the memo to stick to the same lying story.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, she was holding a press conference and doing a press statement. He's not a member of the press. It wasn't like a hearing where it was an open forum for senators to ask a question. He clearly showed up to a public event to create a moment and do what you're saying, sort of show his constituents, not just Democrats, but that he's fighting from his perspective.
No. On the Communist News Network. No. Someone, oh my goodness.
He's the only one being honest about the situation.
Who allowed him to get on there and say that? Who allowed him to say that? He actually told the truth. He actually told the truth on the Communist News Network. Again, this is before they got the memo. Everybody. 100% before they got the memo. Okay, what I was getting ready to say just a second ago, tomorrow is the 14th of June. And apparently all of these radical leftist lunatics, especially after this episode, because, they don't like the truth anyways, they're going to say, oh my goodness, they're trying to take over, or, they're trying to get rid of all of our work, all of our slaves, they're trying to get rid of all of them. So they're going to have all of these leftist lunatics go throughout the country and basically riot, but they're calling it a peaceful protest. Demoncrats don't peacefully protest anything. If they can destroy something in the process, they will. Then they'll blame somebody else. Well, we wouldn't have destroyed everything if Trump would have just allowed us to burn up or just attack these ICE members. We wouldn't burn up anything if that was the case.
You know what I don't like?
What's that?
I don't like the fact that this No Kings event across America has become more popular than the actual military parade that Trump is doing. In fact, I keep forgetting about it. And the sad thing is I don't think that enough people are going to show up to the parade that should be showing up. It's a celebration of our military, our Marine, all of them. And I think it's just sad that really part of their plan has worked. Their plan is to, make his parade a complete failure. I mean, I want to know how many people are planning to go see the parade.
We already knew that the radical leftist lunatics were not going to go to the parade.
I haven't even heard conservatives say they're going. I haven't heard anybody saying, oh, let's go to the parade. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll see you there out. I haven't heard that. So I hope it's not a disappointing turnout. I hope that we show the left that we support Trump, that we support our military, and I hope people show up in great numbers.
Yeah, I hope a whole bunch of people show up too. But, let me just say this. In the past, when I would try to have events or when I would hold events, when I could, a lot of people, conservatives, would not show up because they were fearful that Antifa and BLM would get involved, and they would show up and be pretty violent. The left would show up and be violent. And isn't it interesting that right before this parade, President Trump's beautiful parade, acknowledging the military, and this is not just for a certain group. This is not a parade for a certain group of people. This is a parade for the United States of America, for all of us. This is a parade for all of us, not just a small group of people, but for everybody in the country. So all of this starts popping off right before the parade. And a lot of people are avoiding even going out right now. I'm talking about conservatives. They're avoiding going out. They're avoiding going to certain places because of these radical leftist lunatics out there destroying stuff. They don't want to get caught up on it. This is the reason why you have police departments throughout the entire country on high alert. They're on high alert because they want to be disruptive, and they want to cause much noise and much panic and chaos to try to prevent people from, well, I'm not going to go to the parade because I don't want to be attacked. I'm not going to go to the parade because I don't know what's going to happen. How many, is there anybody that that have said that? I'm telling you, it happens all the time. I've experienced it. And sometimes people go, well, I want to come to your event, but I just don't want to, I just can't deal with Antifa and BLM. I just can't do it. And that's the reason why I can't come to your event. And I end up having an event. The event goes off without a hitch. No issues at all. I get a couple of stragglers in there, which you expect. But, for the most part, it goes off without a hitch. And then they go, oh, okay, well, it was okay. They do this to intimidate. And this is the reason why I was saying this the other day. The Demoncrats did the same thing when they created the Klan. The only reason why they created the Klan to intimidate black people and white people from voting on the Republican ticket. They're doing the same thing today. See, they imported all of their people because they can't have them people running around in white hoods any longer. They're talking about the Democrats because then they're like, oh, well, that's not a really good image. That's not the image that they want to look at, especially when they're trying to say it's Republicans that are the Klan, right? When it's always been Democrats. So now they have imported all these people in here to do their bidding. And not only that, you got a whole bunch of radical leftist lunatics that went to these colleges and universities, and then they play dress up and they go out and they burn up vehicles, and mommy and daddy bail them out. You understand? But tomorrow, I plan on being out there. I plan on being out there, being live. And of course, me, if y'all watch my videos, y'all see me going live. I don't ever go out there for a physical confrontation. I want to have conversation. That's what I want. I want to have a conversation with the people that are out there that are so upset. And I'm going to say, I just want to know, what do you think should be done? Should we just allow the criminals to roam the streets of America? Should we, remove that criminal element? I want to know their answer to that. Right? This is just legit questions. These are not questions that should cause us to want to be, a physical confrontation between one another. Let's just have a civil conversation. But they can't do it because when you start asking rational thinking questions, they start thinking about it. Then they start getting upset because they don't like the way it sounds. Oh, I can't talk to you. I can't talk to you because you're actually a thinker. You're rational thinking here. So with that said, I need your support too, right? I need your support. Oh, wow. John, thank you so much for the super chat on YouTube. John, thank you so much. Wow, I was not even expecting that. For the both of you to have lunch. Oh, my goodness. John, you are amazing. You are amazing. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that blessing.
I want to know how I knew I was hungry.
John, I don't work her that hard. Okay. But I really appreciate you.
He does. He works me that hard. We go to the gym early in the morning.
Yeah, I've been trying to lose some weight.
So by this time, we're really hungry.
Yeah, I've been trying to lose some weight here, and I've been doing what they call intermediate fasting. So I'll go to the gym and I work out on an empty stomach, and then after I work out, I will have a banana just for the potassium, right? I have a banana for potassium, but other than that, just banana and water. And I have like a green drink thing, But other than that, I will fast until I'm done with all of my shows throughout the day. And it typically around 2:30, 3 o'clock. So I don't eat anything until 3:00. So it's intermediate fasting. And, I was doing some research and it says it's really good for you to do that. And it's really hard. It becomes a little difficult for us to do that. So if you haven't done it, you might want to try it. It was hard for me to get into the routine of doing it, but I realized that I even feel better by doing so. Right. And I'm trying to get healthy. I'm trying to, I want to be in shape. And for people that's watched me for over the years, you may have even noticed that I might just lost a little bit. And just to let you know something really quick, I was in a size 38 shorts. Size 38. I'm like, wow, I was up there, size 38. And I almost didn't need a belt for that. Right? I'll just put a belt on because I like the way the belt looked. Not that you can see it at the time. But now I'm in a size 34. I'm a size 34. I'm like, this is amazing. And I need a belt. So I've been really working on it. But John, thank you so much. I might go get me a taco. And also, if you would, please go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com. If you can go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com. And also, uniteamericafirst.com, once you get there, you can put the link in the bottom there. Sign up for the free newsletter. I've asked people, and you know what? Let me just be clear about this too. I asked people to sign up for my free newsletter, and people will send me emails or send me messages. And I see sometimes people in the chat saying, Will, I signed up for your free newsletter and I didn't get a newsletter from you. And just to let you know, I don't spam you. Can I get a show of hands of people that will appreciate that? I mean, do you appreciate that? So if I send something, it's like, for me, it's slightly important, right? For me, it's important because I have signed up for newsletters in the past, and man, sometimes I get 3 and 4 emails from them a day, and I don't have time. I don't have time to read all of them. And then it's just like that every single day, 3 and 4 every single day. And I'm like, dude, I just can't do it. I can't do it. So this is the reason why I don't just blow your inbox up with emails. So when I do send an email, maybe, you know what, Shannon, I should try to get in the habit of sending one out just once a week, like on a Friday, or maybe a Monday, or maybe Sunday evening so people see it Monday. But maybe just once a week. I would get better at that. Right? I can at least do that just once a week. But I don't want to blow your inbox up because I don't like it when mine get blown up. Also, if you would, please go to uniteamericafirst.com/donate, right? You can see those little circles at the top there. You click on one of those and you can bless me monthly. If God puts it on your heart, I would greatly appreciate it. Or if you just say, okay, I like this guy, I give him a one-time thing. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you so much when you do the Rumble rants. And thank you so much for the pills, the gold pills on pills.net. I really appreciate it. But if you go to uniteamericafirst.com, you just want to do like a one-time thing right there. You know the ones that you're accustomed to, seeing all of those, right? Or, which in some cases, some people will bless me with a letter. And I love singing, I just got a letter. I just got a letter. But I've kept every single one of them. See, for me, I cherish them. I cherish everything, right? That's why I'm asking when you hit the thumbs up, share the videos. I take that as a blessing from you. So there's my physical address if you want to send me something in the mail. If you want to send me a blessing in the mail, because I know a lot of people don't like doing the digital thing. I completely get it. Because we're living in a different world. The world is changing. One thing I did put on social media yesterday when this first happened, I just put a scripture online, and it was Matthew 24. Matthew 24. I encourage everybody to go read the entire chapter of Matthew 24. Go read the entire chapter of Matthew 24 right now. Because what's happening in Israel, I don't know what the outcome is going to be. And again, I don't like the fact that, the destruction going on, but let me just say this too. If you have a neighbor that's constantly throwing rocks at you, or if you have a neighbor that's constantly going to the other neighbors and they're getting those other neighbors to throw rocks at your home, throw your window, harm your children every now and then, they're not doing it directly, but they're getting other neighbors to do it. And you know that they're doing it, right? And then they're saying while they're getting the neighbors to throw rocks at you, they're building something over in their home to attack your house that can do some serious damage. And they've already said it. As soon as I get done, I'm going to do this. Soon as they get done, they've been saying it for years that they're working on uranium, they're working on a nuclear bomb, and they said as soon as they get one that is active and that works, they're going to use it on Israel. They're not even being shy about it. They've said it multiple times. So if you know this, if your neighbor has been doing this to you, and you know they got these trucks coming in, bringing in material that they're getting ready to do something to you when they've already been getting all your other neighbors attack you. And they do it every now and then. And then they bring all these trucks in there and you be like, I mean, they're going to get ready to do some serious damage. What do? Nothing. Do nothing. Allow them to attack you. Allow them to demolish your home. And then you assess, right? Is that what you're supposed to do? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know in the comments. Is that what we're supposed to do? Do you understand the analogy? It's the exact same thing. The exact same thing. God bless you all. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Be safe out there. Hopefully, we don't go into World War III. We don't want that at all, except for the elites of the